Hello and welcome to another episode of Caffelogue with Naga, where we bring you people, passions, and professions that shapes the world around us. We truly have a special guest today. Before I introduce her, I want to mention this powerful quote from Nelson Mandela. Education is the powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So, with that cue, you all understand that today's conversation and our guest is from the field of academia. So, she's a teacher by heart, leader in the field of academia. Children loves her. Her contributions to the education field is countless. So, joining us is Mrs. Usha Mohan, the visionary leader, on edupreneur, I would call her, and the principal of the Green School, Bangalore. A passionate educator and changemaker, Mrs. Usha Mohan has reimagined what learning can look like by building a school that's rooted in sustainability, creativity, and conscious living. So, in our conversation today, I'm going to explore her journey, what inspired her to start the Green School Bangalore, which is redefining the education in India, and why raising environmentally aware and emotionally intelligent learners is more important than ever. So, without further ado, let's welcome Mrs. Usha Mohan Iyer.
I was always vouching for where the children can become the brand ambassadors for the future planet and take care of the planet. So I thought, why not to put them in the real life situations? And that's why I came up with the concept of zero energy, zero carbon, and a zero waste school.
The type of architecture the classrooms are built.
Japanese buildings are all round shape. I'm very impressed with that. So I was talking to a person from Japan. He was telling why the buildings are round. He says all the energies, it should be always like kept inside. That's the reason temples are always built like this, round. The seat of energy is temple. Seat of energy is any school. So much energy is exchanged between the teachers, children.
The understanding of the actual education lies in what you talked about, being aware of this environment. How as a person be more sustainable.
I think the psychology of the people is like that. They run behind brands. They run behind global world. They feel my children are going to be exposed to world if I put them in a world school. But they don't know the world school is just a state board school. I think that parents have to do a lot of research. They do need to understand what is good for their child because every child is different.
The different curriculum in India, like how does it matter?
The population of India is so much. Each of them have got their own ideologies, what they want to do and what they want to learn. Some of them think that the children are only cut off for 5 subjects. So when they think that the children cannot do more than 5 subjects, I think they take up either state board or they take up CBSE. So I think it's a fancy thing to people think there's a CBSE, there's an ICSE, there's an IGCSE. These are all only to cater to all this type of people to think that, okay, if a child is doing about 11 subjects in ICSE, people say, oh my God, my child cannot do 11 subjects in ICSE.
There is always, I think, if I look at academia as a general field, the percentage of women versus men is always, when it comes to school education, especially in India, I've seen that there is a lot of women who are coming into the school level teaching, but when it moves from school towards the STEM education or even, more into the college and the universities, I see the percentage drops.
Parents trust women in schools than men, and unfortunately in India. And when teachers are concerned, yes, you can have even male teachers, but not many of the men prefer teaching because teaching profession, unfortunately in India, is not a very, very high paying profession.
I don't think so. All the curriculums in the Montessori or anywhere really focuses on that holistic learning.
Like everybody uses jargonic word as saying, oh, I'm using Steiner education. And some people say, oh my God, I'm using Maria Montessori. But the thing is that, are they seriously following one pattern of education in the preschool? I think, Naga, you've been, first of all, a wonderful parent. And you being part of the Green School Bangalore, I mean, it was amazing when you said that I'm looking at this kind of a sustainable school. And when when I heard about you being a vegan, that was little, interesting, and we got into conversation. But let me tell you the entire background of how I came up with the sustainable school. This was not like one day's idea of just coming up with a school like that, a green school like that, and and a fancy name called the green school. No, it was not, it wasn't that. It was like I was always vouching for an environment. I was always vouching for where the children can become the brand ambassadors for the future planet and take care of the planet. So I thought, why not to put them in the real life situations? And that's why I came up with the concept of zero energy, zero carbon, and a zero waste school. So coming up with a concept like this, it's not easy because when you talk about zero, it means you need to really work on these concepts. So whether it's going to be a solar school, we need to think about that. What kind of furnitures, what kind of building, what kind of infrastructure, what kind of programming, what kind of curriculum, everything has to be designed. So it was not an easy task. As they say, Rome was not built in a day. Similarly, Green School was not built in a day. So it was a lot of efforts, a lot of research, a lot of ideas, which was like poured in by everybody. And ultimately, the school came up in 2019. And you know the journey. You are a parent. You know that how the parents love this whole concept. And the green curriculum itself is like talked about by everybody. So you know about it, how the whole concept, how whole thing was conceptualized.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I know the journey was definitely would not have been very easy for you to actually, becoming a founder, starting in the field of academia and teaching, and then moving into starting your own school. So that wouldn't have been an easy journey, right? And trying to, I mean, there are schools mushroomed across the world, and especially in India. If you see, there's so many schools um, around, and there is a lot of competition, right? But when you start a school, so what is your differentiator? So and how are you making sure that you're more conscious in terms of education with the right mindset? That's very important, especially bringing up the future generations. How are they being educated? It's very, very important, not just from the book but from the life experiences. So I think I was so fascinated from talking to you in the first place when I was looking for, when I moved to India, when I was looking for a school which is similar to, where it is not about only books, but it's about the life experiences and then the learning, and also, important of awareness of the environment and things like that. So it was definitely um, the Bangalore school, the early education, what you've been doing was phenomenal, and then it came the Green School Bangalore. So please, probably I would like to maybe a nostalgia, or walk me through your journey into the field of academia. And I mean, you have a wealth of experience. It's like more than 4 decades, so I think probably 41, 42 years overall. So which I think I can just sit and listen to you for the next one whole day. But probably brief I mean, your journey for the audience, it would be definitely an
Yes.
inspiration, and right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
please go ahead.
So, actually speaking, being an entrepreneur was always my calling. Okay, I started my journey of being an educationist at the age of 19, and many of them don't know the story. Like I was also a teacher once upon a time. So, and I just finished my graduation when my father was in Indonesia. My father wanted me to do the post graduation. He wanted me to join the hotel management. I mean, whatever I want to do later after graduation. But when he went abroad, the bug of earning, the bug of it was always an urge, like I should make my own money sort of thing. Nobody told me that we're not going to give you the money to do post graduation, but I just wanted to earn. And the idea on I started toying with the idea, why not to join the same school where I graduated from, the 12th. So I went to my same old school where I studied from grade 1 to grade 12, and spoke to principal and said, I want to become a teacher. So she said, why not? I mean, I was an all rounder, and I should not brag about myself, but I was. So then she said, no, no problem. You can do that, but you're just 19 years old. So how will you handle this bunch of about, say, fourth graders and fifth graders? I said, I love to. And I'm a very passionate teacher. I love to do that. So that's how my journey began, like doing this. Then I thought, okay, my mother said, see, you cannot be just a graduate. You've taken up this job, fine, your father is not here. If your dad comes to know that you have not done anything and you've taken up this, it's going to be very upset. I said, well, I want to earn and I want to fund for my post graduation with my money. That much of ego I had with my whatever little money I was earning and stuff like that. So my mother said, okay, you're learning something, that's fantastic, but finish your post graduation. She said, I will fund for it because I want you to do post graduation, but you keep your money because this is your saving and whatever. So that thrill of earning at that very young age and saving and stuff like this, It was very, very interesting for me to, like, I can buy whatever I want. I don't have to ask my mom. So I was a very young girl, but I taken up this challenge of doing the teaching, and teaching was my calling. I understood that. Hotel management came up. It came up with something else, also like an airlines industry and stuff like this. But I was very much attracted to the glamorous, those kind of industries, but still I wanted to do teaching, and that's how I became a teacher. After that, of course, there was no stopping. Then when I became a teacher, then after that I came to Bangalore to explore certain other possibilities. And I became assistant headmistress. I got married. I was again a teacher. Then I went abroad. There was a teacher. Then I came back to India. Then I was a principal of a school. I was managing a school. I was also a principal abroad in Nigeria, where all the places where my husband took up jobs, I went there, and I was teaching there as well as heading schools there. So when I came back to India, I took up the role of a principal on Sarjapur Road, very upcoming school it was. So I said, let me start as a founder principal. I did that. I had a lot of children, bunch of kids. I got experience of even constructing school. Then slowly and steadily, when I met a person from the ICC board, he was telling me, Usha, I'll tell you one thing, like only fools work for others. Entrepreneurs don't work for others. So this thing, it actually pinched me, and I said, oh my God, I think I should do something of my own. Let it be small. I discussed with my husband. I said, see, I want to do a big school. He said, anything you start, it starts with small. It
Wow.
doesn't start with big, Usha. I said. And that's how
Very
the
true.
Bangalore school came up. And I didn't have a penny in my pocket, let me tell you. I was very much earning, and I didn't want to ask my husband to fund me. I told my husband I want to do a school. He said, I will help you get funds in the bank. So we took a loan in the bank, started the Bangalore school. Then you know the journey, your children were part of it. Then so many kids came. And I think Bangalore school is the most fantastic thing which happened in Whitefield at that time, because there was not a Regio school those days. We had mixed with Regio with the
Yeah.
curriculum, which is a lot of passion has gone behind the way we had woven the curriculum and came up with such a beautiful concept of a preschool. And the early years has been actually awarded year on year. Lot of awards, rewards have come by, whether it's from New York or whether it's from here, from Education World ranking. And now, right now, we are number 3 as a proprietor-owned preschool. But I don't do anything rewards and awards, you know this. So 2019, again, there was a calling. I said, well, I have already established this. Next what? That's how the Green School Bangalore came up. And I was always wanted to start it on the lines of like Bali, Indonesia type.
Yes.
So I said, well, it has to be a green school with a green concept and stuff like this. And that's how the whole thing came up. And so far, so good. We've got about, say, 400 bunch of kids here in academic year. It's doing pretty well, but I miss your kids, of course.
Thank you so much. No, I wanted
Yes.
to. I think it's a quite a journey to start something like I would say school or even an institution which is more catering to the for education, because it's very competitive, and to stand out and establish and to be more successful, it takes a lot of effort. And I would say your determination and your experience in that industry speaks a lot. So I think lot of inspiration on that front from you, ma'am. Right? I think people who want to do or achieve something where they don't have, or they want to start small steps, is very important than not taking any step. So it's always that the first step, and what you want to do. I think probably more um, education is to come, would follow your path. I think what you're doing for the field of education, right? So especially in India, I think the early education is something which is very, very important from a schooling standpoint, but the focus has not been always that. So but in general, that I want to get your, before we move into on the green school and the concept. I want to get your perspective on the early education for the kids who are moving from more of a preschool to the academics, maybe more in the uh, probably a kindergartner. The transition to generally what I've seen across India or talking to different parents is The intention is to just put them into a school where, I mean, I have got this from different parents. The opinion is, hey, I think, okay, this is the time, so probably I want to send them to the school so that they're away from the home. That's one. Yes, you need your me time. But the other thing is, I think, okay, what do they learn in that age? So I know you would have also experienced that kind of understanding that, okay, that phase they go, probably they take eat snacks, take rest, and then come back, maybe a little bit of play and some education in between. But I strongly believe the fundamental of your what you learn in moving in your moving forward is actually stored there. So it is very important to give a holistic learning experience for the child, be it making some food, or trying to make a play doh, or probably cooking something which is more non without the fire, cooking without fire, or
Yes.
a experiment with science. So there's a lot to do in that age where
Not to do
they're
this.
exposed. But that
Yes.
understanding, that fundamental, I don't think so all the curriculums in the Montessori or anywhere really focuses on that holistic learning. So maybe I wanted to get your perspective. How do you see it? Do you still see that it has changed now, or it is still a long way to go?
Let me tell you one thing, Naga. Like everybody uses jargonic word as saying, "Oh, I'm using Steiner education,"
Hmm.
and some people say, "Oh my God, I'm using Maria Montessori." But the thing is that are they seriously following one pattern of education in the preschools? That's my
Hmm.
question.
Hmm.
Preschools are mushrooming like anything. There's
Right.
so many
Right.
of them.
Right.
And people who have got a lot of money, they put fantastic preschools with fantastic decorations. People get carried away saying, "Oh my God, it's got a beautiful turf grass, and they've got nice play toys, and probably nice classrooms and decorations. So my child will do very well there."
Yeah.
No, I don't agree for that.
Yes.
I do agree that you need to have presentable school, presentable classrooms,
Yes.
presentable materials to in the classroom, but curriculum matters. What kind of teaching happens in the class matters because foundation years matters. That's very important. For me, it's okay. You can be creative, you can be hands-on, you can be anything, but ultimately, it's the p's and q's. Like not only p's and q's, it's all about the arithmetic. That is
Hmm.
the talking about the English, the literacy, the numeracy, and all
Right.
these things. So this really matters. Reading, writing, arithmetic is right from the day one we've been talking about from the old age times. So those children are not doing very well now. Why are these fantastic fancy schools, preschools are coming up and saying that we are charging 1.5 lakh, we're charging 2.5 lakh, 3 lakh, but we're giving you all international curriculum. We are international preschool. I don't understand the word international at the preschool level, and
Yes.
that too in India. I
Yeah.
don't understand that at all. You are basically catering to Indians, and Indians have got very, very neutral accents. I appreciate the way Indians speak. I'm sorry about it. Like even Americans or even the UK people, they all appreciate the way Indians neutralize the accent of English and they speak. Then where is the question of getting the word international into picture?
Hmm.
International preschool, and that's where the parents get carried away. I'll tell the parents, those who are looking for foundation years, look for a school which is a caring school, which is actually going out of the way, settling your children with emotional and social quotient. That is very, very important at that age. First comes that, then comes the other things. We talk about SEAL in our school, that is social, emotional, ethical learning. And that's what happens at the Bangalore school. That's where you have experience with your own children. Children are very scared to come to school because they're leaving their parents and they're coming to the school for the first time. So you need to make them comfortable. And then comes learning. And when learning comes, don't compromise on any kind of learning. You need to have excellent teachers where delivery
True.
is very good. You need to have pronunciation in place. You cannot say apple. You have to say apple. You have to say certain words are pronounced the way it has to pronounce. Otherwise, children are going to get the wrong accents. And children getting wrong accent, they don't understand the concept. You cannot say, "Oh, just a preschool child plays and comes back." No, child also learns a lot of things. They're learning literacy, they're learning numeracy, they're learning art, they're learning, the cooking without fire,
Right.
as you
Yeah.
told. They're also doing dancing, music,
Yes,
theater, everything.
arts. Yeah, yeah, all of that.
Yes,
Yes.
they are very smart.
Yeah.
Today's children are very smart. So many of the schools saying, "Oh my, I will put up nice big projector for teaching the children." Technology is fine.
Yes.
Technology is fine. People are saying, "Oh, I've introduced AI in my school, artificial intelligence at the preschool level." I'm surprised. We are running away from ChatGPT because it's taking away our intelligence. Why
Exactly.
are you making the children artificial? My
Yes.
question is that I am not against it. I might be 60 years old, Naga,
Yeah.
but I'm not against artificial intelligence. But I'm saying that you are actually exposing them
Exactly.
indirectly to all that stuff. You have to make them more creative, more hands on, and make them think out of the box. And that depends upon how you train the teachers, and teachers will train your children to be that what you want them to become. It's like that. And first and foremost, what's important is children should value parents, and children
Perfect.
should respect parents. If a school can teach that, and that attitude and that manners comes from the people who run it. If they themselves have the attitude, you cannot teach that attitude to children so that the children can teach the parents back again. So my children are very grounded, very humble, and I'm very happy about it, Naga. Education beyond boundaries is my concept.
No, I think very well said, ma'am. I think what I've seen and experienced, I wanted to share to everybody, right? I mean, it's more than the the parents needs to be having the trust and actually understanding what's happening, the transparency, and also the approach, the ease of approach on any situation or any problem or anything which you want to talk about with respect to the child's education. I would say the Bangalore school has been, I mean, I've not seen any such schools which is so down to earth and who are able to respond to queries at such agility. And I mean, resolution is something which definitely will come later, but at least the responsiveness and the way the teachers are actually always uh, are there for any questions, and even the management you put together. So you have a
We
knack
have a
of getting
fantastic
the
J
right,
as well.
yeah, getting the right head
Yes.
from different for different functions. So which is kudos to you for doing that. But I think I've experienced personally, which is more fulfilling, because you know that the management and this school is not just focused on the money, but also on your child well-being, right? So which is fundamentally missing from an in our society. Because while if you go abroad, probably the other places, the public school system is very, very prevalent, right? We have not reached, at least in India, it's not reached that yet. So I think thanks to you and the team for continuously doing that, right? For the parents to have the trust. So I would say anyone wants to experience that should go to the early education should be from the Bangalore school, right? So
And the Green School Bangalore, in fact, puts them in an experiential center. No?
yes,
Expensive the center is very important because if you're a design thinker, you want to actually experience a hydroponic farm, you want to do financial literacy in there, or you want to intern in a real life situation. I think that's what we're trying to give them, the real life experience. I
yeah,
think that's a big transition which happens from a preschool to a grade one. And
yes.
you have to make them comfortable. And if doing with activities, the way station based approach what we're doing in our school, I don't think so anybody is doing like that now.
Yeah. No, I think I would say even not even on the sustainability or even the awareness in terms of how the classroom has to be built. I've not really talked to you about it all these time, especially on those topics, but we talk more on the other. We've talked more on the kids and other general things, especially
Yes.
even on the amount of effort you've put on the cultural. So it's so overwhelming, amazing to get that. But I think I'll go back to my question in terms of the architecture of the Green School Bangalore. So when you started the initiative of okay, I'm moving into a bigger school, I want to invest and bring up something like a Green School Bangalore, which is with a novel concept, right? I mean, what was your thought? And the infrastructure, I mean, the architecture of the building, more of a Japanese way. I think you've talked about it in multiple places. I'm not sure how many are aware of that, the type of architecture the classrooms are built. Please explain that.
I
And it's
love that. I love that round concept.
yes, yes.
Yes,
So
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 I'll throw light on that. Why I came up with that. Mainly when I was trying to make this infrastructure, Naga, I was very impressed with Bali, Indonesia. They made it with bamboos. They've
hmm,
not made with kind of stones and
right.
the way we are using in India. We're not making like that. So I thought that if I make with bamboo, like I was like figuring it out, like what material to be used.
Hmm,
And then first was the material, then only they came the structure and the shapes. So they said, no, you can't do that in India because it's not sustainable. Because you again have to keep replacing the. Now, right now, I'm replacing my roof because that
hmm.
is how the sustainability works. And people think green is cheap. Green is not cheap
Yes.
because green is expensive. It's not cheap. So this one I want to tell people who want to invest in green. It's not cheap. Because I actually got the stones from Bangalore. I got a gypsum from Iraq. It's that story of the green school because it's not cheap. Even if I made the flooring out of the Karaikudi tiles, the tiles are from Karaikudi. I
Hmm.
mean that is a kind of the whole infrastructure. It
Yes.
doesn't come up like overnight. We have to think about it. Okay, what am I going to use this? Is it going to be this Atamuri tiles if I'm going to do in the dining hall? Then how are you going to design? Children are designing it. They're putting on the computer. Okay, what is the therapeutic value of this? Okay, if I walk barefoot on this, it's
Hmm.
going to really solve my problem of arthritis and cancer. Okay, let's do that because we are also looking at health issues down the line with the children. Children do not know how to sit on the floor. Children love to sit on table and share.
Exactly.
So that's the whole concept of the dining hall came up in
Hmm.
the Green School Bangalore, where children are sitting on the floor and eating. They're grounded. The more they are grounded and they are sitting on the floor and they're eating humbly, I think that solves the problem of children going back and asking for fancy things from the parents. They don't do that. They know they have to take off their shoes, they have to be barefoot, they have to take their plates, they have to put in the washing area. What happens after that, they're not looking at it, but I'm going to put the duties there also. Japanese concept comes in that. Japanese children, I'm very impressed with. But
Yes,
they take up a lot
they
of
do.
onus and responsibility of serving the food, making the menu, taking responsibility in the school. And that's how the investiture ceremony after that, I tell the children, whoever becomes leaders, I said, you need to be involved in the school policy making. You need to be involved in everything. And many of children have also asked, what if we start interning, you start paying us for the internship? I said, why not? It can be paid and unpaid internships.
Yes.
But be part of that and be
Con-
very, it's a very democratic approach. We
yes.
want to make the children feel heard. I feel like
They are heard.
children
Yeah.
should be heard because after all, we are the only ones for them, right? And they should be they're future citizens of the country. So we need to make them involved in everything. That's one way of Japanese look at it. So similarly, the Japanese buildings are all round shaped. I'm
Yeah.
very impressed with that. So I was talking to a person from Japan a few years back. He was telling why the buildings are round. He says, actually speaking, all the energies, it should be always like kept inside. And you know that's the reason temples are always built like this, round or hexagon, whatever. Because all the energy, the seat of energy is temple. Seat of energy is any school. So much energy is exchanged between the teachers, children. So much of positive energy is there. So we capture that and keep it. The school grows, enhances, and children also become much more mentally and physically healthy. And that's the whole concept of doing that. And of course, I wanted to create the concept of natural light and natural wind and all that stuff. That's why I kept the space in between empty so that we can grow a tree from the center, so we can have more of oxygen coming inside, more of light, sunlight, more of air. So air, sunlight, you play with all the natural elements. So you can get the best of both the worlds, and children can get fresh air to breathe, and that's very important. During pandemic also, my parents were very happy sending children to school. They said doesn't matter, let them sit because there's a lot of sun space. There's no concretization where I've got only concrete building and there's no trees. This
Hmm.
place, when I took up Naga, there was not a single tree on this. And today I'm proud to say that I have about 10,000 trees on my land. You know, and children have done it.
Amazing.
They have also planted. We also have planted trees. There's silver oaks. There is orchard coming up at the back in the 1 acre
Wow.
plot where the buses are going to park. So I think the more of oxygen we're going to generate, that's better for us because oxygen is going to deplete up sometime in the atmosphere.
It's already there
So
in if
yes,
you go to our
so
capital
I
city.
think all these concepts are important. So right now we are in the process of naming all the trees, Naga.
Hmm.
You have not experienced it because children are already left. So every single, I have grown up in Dehradun where I know every tree. I know that this is night flame, and this is this tree, this tree. You used to say that, and you knew the botanical name also. I
Right.
knew the botanical name even of the insects and this thing because I've grown in a
Hmm.
flora and fauna place.
Yes.
So when I'm creating flora and fauna in my school, I want my children to know the name of trees. So I told my gardener this year, I said, put the names there. We're putting tins across on the trees, and we're going to paint the name on the of the tree there with a botanical name so the children know which trees are there in their schools. It's very important to connect
Very
to nature.
important. Yes.
And when you connect to nature, you'll understand that nature teaches a lot of things to us. Nature teaches so much to us. Nature, we have to give back to nature now. Nature is giving so much to us.
Yeah.
So it's a high time that we give back to nature. Otherwise, you'll have more of tsunamis, more of corona, more of all this pandemic. Everything will happen because we're not taking care of nature. So we have to teach the next generation of the children that you have to take care of nature, and that is why the whole concept of our school of the putting solar panels, saving electricity, so we can use the solar energy instead of electrical energy. All this we're teaching to the real life situation. And the Japanese also said that if you have a kitchen, let the children go to kitchen, cook, and then serve. Probably we'll start that as well.
Wow. I know there is a lot of thought process have gone into. I know that's why I wanted to hear
Yes.
uh, from the person who has visualized and made it reality. So it's great to hear from you on how that process has conceptualized and and now exists in Whitefield. So I know you touched briefly about the international schools and the craze for that. So I think one of my question is also about it, right? So the more, yeah. So what? It's not about being international. International. That's not the important. That's not the crux. I would say the value of the education, right? It's about how much you're learning. Are you really able to handle the life experience when you're out of the college, and when you finish your education and then able to handle the real life? That's more important during the education. I mean, when we go through that 15 years of education from the early childhood, right? So it's important. So why you still feel, do you see that the parents, or the mindset of the parents are changing now in terms of not moving more towards international schools? But then what I see is only the infrastructure with full AZ, or probably everybody gets tablet, and it's more the technology is more used, and the prices are uh, for it. But I think the understanding of the actual education lies in, like, what you talked about, being aware of this environment. How do as a person be more sustainable and learn.
Yes, I think the psychology of the people is like that. They run behind brands.
Hmm.
They run behind international word. They run behind global word. They feel my children are going to be exposed to world if I put them in a world school. But they don't know the world school is just a state board school. They don't
Yeah.
even know that. I mean, the parents are so, I mean, they're so Google savvy. They have a chat GPT, all that is there. But still, they're so unaware that they'll just put them, oh my God, my child is going to the school so and so. Oh, it's a branded school.
It's
Okay,
a
let me put them. It's
societal
a 2
pressure.
lakh rupees. Oh my God, my child goes to that school and it is that price. So they want to boast about it.
Yeah.
But they do not understand what stress the child is going through. Does he understand what's happening in the class? Is he able to cope up in the class? Is he getting bullied? Is he getting teased? You have to look at a lot of aspects. And is he being? Is he understanding the concepts well in the class? Is it just the rote memorized? Just because a brand, just because international, that's not going to resolve your problem. You need to understand what is the philosophy you're looking at. Suppose I want to put my child in a very Gurukul type of a school. My philosophy is a Gurukul philosophy. I want to put my child there because I want him to learn the values like a Gurukul schools. But if I want to put him in a school like a CBSE school, I know that probably I'm a CBSE person. I've experienced it. I want my child to study in a CBSE school. Or if I want to put my child in an ICSE school, then
Hmm.
probably he wants him to learn more of English. Probably he wants to live him to be proficient in languages and stuff like this. So that is the idea people used to have those olden days. But today I don't see they do that anymore. They just put them in any fancy school. Then afterwards, I keep seeing the chats in many of those groups in Facebook and saying, "Hey, look, I want to change the school of my child. Tell me which school is good." I don't understand. You just the child has just studied there 2 years, and you start asking questions from your neighbors and others. Which school is the child? Are you deciding for yourself? Or are you deciding for your child? One. Second, what are you looking for? First of all, you are so confused. You change your child of the school of the child 3 times, but you're still not happy with anything. So I think that parents have to do a lot of research. They do need to understand what is good for their child, because every child is different. Every child is unique. And we have something called personalized education in the Green School, what we are doing, Naga. We are actually making the curriculum for every single child, because your learning style will be different.
Yes.
My learning style will be different. I might be more audiovisual. You might be more of linguistic. You understand? So, are we preparing the curriculum the way the child needs it? Or are we going to dump the way the whole class needs it? We
Hmm.
cannot do that anymore. Today's generation is totally different. They're audiovisual children, and they're more like proactive. They want to be more, and their concentration level is zero. So we are dealing bunch of children who are technology conscious children. You
Exactly.
give them a phone, they'll know how to
Yes.
figure it out.
Yes.
You don't have to tell them be away with it, because when you're not there also they will figure
Yeah.
out how to do it. It's like this. So better tell them how to use a technology
E-
safely.
Efficiently
It's
also.
like that, efficiently. And tell them it's a tool. Basically, it's just a tool. Don't be dependent on technology. Then
Yes.
you will become a fool. That's what actually ChatGPT is doing to all of us. But
Yes.
the thing is that a school, when they're choosing, the parents are choosing, they have to see what kind of foundation are you trying to create. You can talk to the school and say, look, I'm looking at decision making, critical thinking, problem solving. Those are the life skills which I'm like looking at my children knowing it. I know I want my children to become brilliant in this. It's not education alone parents are looking at nowadays. So it's a holistic education if you're looking at it. It's not only doing taekwondo, this thing, karate, this thing, that thing. Every school does that. But apart from that, if a child has to become brilliant, we're also looking at, let the children, be like children. So let them give them the space where they need to, and let them understand, make it more democratic approach. All these things is a Japanese technology and methodology, right? So adapt the global technologies, methodologies across the world, and create a kind of a value based education system in your institution. And I think that you can shape up the future citizens of India very beautifully.
No, very well said. I think wonderful thoughts, man. True. I definitely agree with you because the reason why we chose even the Green School Bangalore or the Bangalore School is for that reason, right? Because there are so many. It's not about to be proud of. Like, okay, my children are going into this school or the other school. It's about end of day, what is satisfying from a child standpoint in terms of end of day when she comes back from school, what she's learning. So everyday learning is important, and a lot of schools are confined to just the buildings, and probably the area outside of the building is much more important to be more grounded and trying to learn a lot of other things outside the classroom as well, like growing your own food. I know that you also started. I mean, farming is one, so know how the food is, where the food is coming from, into your plate, and then also baking. And there are much more activities. You're inculcating part of the curriculum. So uh, probably please talk about the importance of knowing that, right, when they're growing up. So those are life skills. So not many curriculums actually has the life skills part of their. It's only academic. So so do you think the change in the government policies, both in the central or in the state, to be looked at, or from the education department to see all this? But I know right now at least one change which I've seen from the Tamil Nadu government is of adding AI to be mandated for all the even government schools, which is a good sign. But again, conscious use of that is very important. But how do you see that? Not being more bookish or academic, because all the curriculums are focusing on that than more um, preparing them for the life experiences when they come out of the school system and go into college, or even finish that and go into their work. So do you see?
I think uh, I think it's a good question, Naga. That AI is going to be taking over very soon. All the jobs, people are going to lose the jobs as well, because AI is going to, because AI is also doing coding nowadays. I heard, so
Hmm,
even coders will be out of jobs very soon. So I think that we are actually giving too much of room to robotic and coding, and introducing that as well in schools. Probably what we should learn is the how to handle AI,
hmm.
you know, how to limit AI in our lives. AI is good, it's not bad, because it saves time. If you see
Yes.
that, if you want to make personalized education, if you see that accessibility and efficiency in all these things, because we need to save time as well. We cannot spend time only on doing nitty gritties. So that way we do need to see where we can use AI. That's important. And of course, the role of educators has totally changed, because they used to take a lot of time making lesson plans. They used to make a lot of time making the curriculum and all. So that the time frame could be little shortened, because it will guide you actually how to save time on those things as well. Because there are certain apps which can easily be reached out to. And even if you give good prompts in chat gpt, good prompts, I'm not saying write or tell AI to write. No, you have to give prompt, you have to write it down. So it should be very personalized to your needs. It should only shape up the content of yours. It should not be saying, okay, generate the content. It will randomly generate the content. It's not going to be matching with whatever your ideology is. So if you want to do that, your prompts have to be very, very good. So it means that your brain has to be still active. So if you keep your brain active, and if you keep your ideas active, and you put those thoughts in that place, and probably AI will only generate and shape it up, and come up with good ideas and give it to you. So AI, to an extent, we cannot avoid, because now it's already taken over. And robotics also, we are going to be introducing in schools. Many schools have already introduced robotics. People are doing it along with computers, and they're also doing it. Our school, why is it different, Naga? Is we are a STEAM school: science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. We combine everything, and we make the children to make the projects. So these projects are very hands-on projects. So we tell the children, we guide them to do it. We have a STEAM incubation center, and children are doing hands-on projects. Probably where we'll use an AI tool is to just to give them a little bit of the coding aspect of it, so that the children can generate that on the 3D printer, and it can be actually manufactured whatever the ideas are. For
Right.
example, one child is actually making a chatbot. So we can actually pitch in some money for the children, because we actually tying up with Kidspreneur. So the child can be, that particular thing what the child is manufacturing could be generating revenue for the child.
Right.
So it can become a young entrepreneur. So that's the whole idea.
Yeah. I think we should
So
uh,
you have to use AI
use
as a
it.
tool.
Yeah. The understanding of the current curriculum, right? Let's say whether it's CBSE or ICSE or IGCSE and the IB. So the what I've seen, parents are more, there is always a confusion, whether I have to go to CBSE or I have to, go to IGSE, or I mean ICSE, or IB. So a lot of people who come from abroad to and they back to India, the kids they tend to go into IB. So and I also see one of the observation which I've consciously made from the academics, the way in which the education has happened outside of India, is that the different curriculum in India, like how does it matter as a
It
parent?
matters because it like the population of India is so much. All right. So each of them have got their own ideologies, what they want to do and what they want to learn.
Hmm.
So some of them think that the children are only cut off for 5 subjects. So when they think that the children cannot do more than 5 subjects, I think they take up either state board or they take up CBSE. I call CBSE only like a state board, because state board matriculation, those days it was called matriculation, the
Yes,
day
yes,
time when you and I were studying and
yes,
all that stuff. I'm even older than you, so I
yes,
from the
yes.
my time
You
of
are,
being,
yeah.
it was called matriculation, and maybe your
Yes,
generation also it was called
we still have
matriculation.
matriculation. Yes.
Yes. So state board doesn't give too much of pressure or anything like that. So many people who have done matriculation, do you think that they have done badly in their lives? In fact, they've done extremely well. My husband was a CEO of a
I did
company. So he
matriculation.
did only matriculation, and there was no English at all in his times. So I think it's a fancy thing for people to think there's a CBSE, there's an ICSE, there's an IGCSE. These are all only to cater to all this type of people to think that okay, if a child is doing about 11 subjects in ICSE, people say, oh my God, my child cannot do 11 subjects in ICSE. So that is why the CBSE, ICSE, all these different boards, it's called a CISE board, is what ICSE is. CBSE is a central board of education. And when people come from abroad, they cannot do CBSE or CISE for only one reason now in Karnataka is because of second language.
Hmm.
Second language, Kannada is compulsory. If they're coming back with the idea that my child will be skipping the second language Kannada, in whether it's ICSE or CBSE, it's not going to be possible because Kannada has become compulsory now in Karnataka.
Hmm.
Now, if they go to any other state also, the second language of that particular state is
It's
compulsory.
compulsory.
So they have to be doing that if they opt for this. Most of the people who come from abroad, they must have done French or Spanish, or they might have done some other second language. So they always opt for international schools. The international boards are also available in India, across India. We have got IB board and we've
Yeah.
got IGCSE board. So IGCSE nothing but that international, general certificate
Yeah.
examination. So that is Assessment International Examination, CIAE. That is the Cambridge International Assessment Examination. That is the CIE. So people say, I want to IGCSE, that is the International General Certificate Examination. There's A levels and O levels. It's very easy, very simple to do that thing. Even the Green School Bangalore is introducing the IGCSE from the Cambridge board. We already got Cambridge affiliation for our kindergarten, and we're also going to do that. IGCSE is a very structured program, and IB is an unstructured program. And IB is more into research, and they have to write essays. Only if you're cut off for writing very lengthy answers and stuff like this, IB is not that easy as people are thinking. International Baccalaureate, it's called as International Baccalaureate, and IB basically has got his regional office at Geneva in Switzerland, and the regional, the national, that is Asian level, it is at Singapore. So that is IB board. So and that the teachers have to be trained, and then only you can start teaching the children. So there's a lot of things in the IB education system, but people who want to opt for IBDP, they have to do it after the grade 8, 9, 10th, 11, 12. It's one whole thing called IBDP program. If they want to IGCSE, they can do after grade 8 also. They can do 9th and 10th as
Hmm.
O levels, 11th and 12th A levels. And if they want to opt for ICSE, they have to do ICSE grade 1 to 8. There's nothing called ICSE or CBSE according to me. You can do the integrated program, you can do whatever. After the grade 8, you can choose a board. It can be CBSE or ICSE. So that is 9th and 10th, 11th and 12th. 11th and 12th is the ISE in ICSE. In CBSE, it's called as plus 2. So I've given you the overview of all the
Yes,
boards and
no,
everything.
that's very. Thank you so much. I think it helps a lot because there's always this questions across, right? Because while some might not know there are different versions of it. So getting from you is always, uh, nobody else can do justice for this. Um, okay, I think moving on to I know Green School Bangalore is also taking the aligned your goals on the sustainability with the SDG goals from the UN, right? I know, and I think the fourth goal is actually giving quality education. So, which
Yes.
is something which I strongly believe in that than fancy or the place of it, right? But while that is also important, but having a quality education is, so I think your and also SDG goals is very very. I mean, you're passionate about the sustainability as a topic as well, and the school is doing a lot. So starting from trying to contribute to the zero carbon emission footprint to zero waste. So please bring awareness and talk about, I know I don't think any school I have heard from my when I've studied, or even when I was trying to enroll my kids, be it India in outside, very focused on sustainability and taken that very seriously and trying to have an
The people
SDG.
have to understand what is sustainability all about. Then only they will be able to figure it out. So let
Yeah.
me throw light on that, Naga. Yeah,
Yes.
good question, which is important. See, there are 17 sustainable goals to be spoken. and we have worked on all the 17 goals.
Hmm.
And people think that, oh my God, how can a school work on all 17 goals? It can be. The first goal is nothing but no poverty.
Yes.
So no poverty in sense, see, I cannot give education to all the children in the world, a free education, which I would love to do it. If my husband would have been there, he wanted to open an orphanage, which
Yes.
I'm not that type who can run an orphanage. So I thought, why not to give free education to the maximum? We don't come under the NEP where we have to give the free education to the children, because we've got a government school next to us. But this free
Hmm.
education thing started because we wanted to do that. So as much as possible, about say 10 to 15%, we also looking at fighting the poverty, so that we can also give them the free education, which we have done. And we also giving free food to the drivers, maids, everybody, to an extent, to have zero hunger. Zero hunger is again number two,
Number two.
where
Yeah.
we wanted to work on that. That's the reason we don't charge money for the food. So we don't charge any money. People keep on searching my fees and saying, something hidden agenda must be there somewhere. The fees, where is it coming from? God gives us. He provides us, because when you're doing something noble job, I think you get that ability to provide food somehow, because nobody goes hungry who comes to green school. Everybody is fed. That's the first motto is, did you have food? Did you have the food? And that's how our whole hospitality runs around
I've
that.
seen that.
And
Yeah.
that's why the entire 500 to 600 people who are in the campus, they eat food. And we feel very happy giving them that. And then comes the good health and well-being. And that's why we've tied up with one of the good hospitals we've tied up with. And we want to give them that. Mental well-being is also very
Hmm.
important, because nowadays people are not talking about the mental well-being of the children at all. And 2030 UNESCO goals talks about the mental well-being of the children. So that is also, we are trying to figure out how to get a counselor this year, where children can be talked about bullying, talked about health, how to take care of themselves. And we also got a healthy report card this year made. And that is
Oh,
how the whole of the fitness report card we have got it made this
wonderful.
year. So that we know that this child needs more of protein, this child needs
Yeah.
more of this thing, carbon. So like this, we have just made that whole thing of proteins and everything. And then we also counsel the parents and saying, look, your children needs a lot of nutrition at home, so we are giving this nutrition. We also have a dietitian on board this year, so we also know, okay, these children have got this much of protein requirement, we are giving. But then we also counsel. So there itself, we are taking care of their well-being. That's also taken care of. Then talk about quality education, which you just now talked about, Naga. That we have to talk about quality education. So we have invested in very good teachers, and this year actually we invested very, very good teachers. I'm very happy with the faculty which we have interviewed, because we're coming in the first year. This batch is going to come out for the first year in the board exams. So we have to invest in teachers. So we have done that. And of course, the kind of the curriculum which is developed by our school head, Manju ma'am, is excellent. So we are not don't want to compromise on education in any manner. You know about it. And then we worked on gender equity and equality. We don't have gender bias at all. We don't say no, we girls should do this job, boys to do this job. We never do that. Girls and boys are equally treated, they're equally empowered. So we've taken care of that aspect as well. Then of course, we're very particular about clean water, very particular about sanitation, all these things. That's again another sixth goal it is. So we've taken care of that as well. So
Yes.
that ensuring availability of clean water, I suggest to schools, you need to get your water tested, which we do it very regularly. So you need to do that, but you understand that how much of pH level is in their water, because you might not use it for drinking, but the thing is that you're using it for children when they're even washing their mouth or something. It's really, really dangerous. So we have to test the water, which in India they do.
How many of the schools are ready to put out that
No,
for
they don't do
for
it. I
public?
know they don't. They don't test the soil. They don't test the water, because soil testing. Why is it important? Because the water level again in the borewell is from the soil.
Yes, then from the
If the
south.
soil is bad, your water in the borewell is bad, and you are consuming something like a poison, and it's a slow poisoning for children. So we do this. We spend a lot of money in doing all that stuff. And of course, the seventh goal, you all know that affordable and clean energy. We have
Affordability. Yeah.
solar energy, which is the cleanest form of energy what we have. And it's not affordable. I'll never call it affordable. I know why it's called affordable and clean energy, because it's not affordable, it's very expensive, but it's okay. It's one time investment. Schools or institutions can look at it and do it. And of course, decent work and economic growth, because we look at giving jobs to the community, to the nearby people. So first choice is people in the community. You give them the jobs and make it more sustainable around you, so that then you can offer jobs to people. If they are not around, then you can offer jobs to the other people as well. And that's how you build a good, healthy community. So we should not look at that giving even admissions. You should not look at not giving to the people who cannot speak English. So we don't look at that as well. So we look at taking those community also into the cognizance when we are taking them, because it's an inclusive school. You need to make everything very inclusive. We do that. Then industry, innovation, infrastructure, yes, we have even worked on that, because my children have worked with industries. So we worked at that goal as well. Then reduced inequalities, because we don't differentiate in people. We've got scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, we've got Brahmins, we've got all kind of castes where they're in the school, but we don't have the discrimination at all. Then sustainable cities and communities, yes, because we're working with lot of other firms, because right now we've signed up with Calix on sustainability. We have signed up with companies. They're working on bamboo for Bangalore is one of the very big projects which we come up with. The government bodies are working with us, and we are trying to plant bamboo. We're trying to make whole of the Bangalore city green. So responsible consumption and production is another goal. Then climate action is a very big goal, because global warming is happening. So
Yes.
we have to fight climate, Naga. I think US is already fighting climate, and life below water is what is very important, because we don't have seas and rivers in Bangalore, but we have taught the children how to conserve and how to conserve water. So we have taken a water project itself is a very big project we've taken in our school, and we have done a lake resurrection near our school where the children have done it, and they have dug trenches so that it doesn't get flooded and our school doesn't get flooded. And of course, life on land is how to restore, protect the animals. We've done an animal shelter. Children have worked in community. They've gone and told even the dairy farms that how to take care of cows, because we're getting milk from the dairy farms. We don't actually buy the packet milk at all in our school. We don't do that. It's a very organic way of looking at buying milk and the vegetables. It's all organic. And of course, we cannot cut forest. So we keep on preaching that to parents. We have got some small tuck shops and small kind of design thinking workshop which we do for parents during Christmas. So which we do that. So biodiversity loss is the biggest loss, Naga.
Yes.
So, and of course, the last but not the least
We
is the
have used a
partnership
lot.
goals, and of course the peace, justice, and strong institutions. And we have built a very good strong institution, and we help the other institutions, and that's very important. It's like a cluster school concept. So I've
Amazing.
just covered all the
I
17
mean,
goals.
yeah, I didn't expect you to cover all 17, but I think kudos to you. Amazing. I think I
Because
know
when you're working on the goals, it is in your mind
yes.
and it's in your workbooks where my Manju ma'am does. So we work on all these goals in the classrooms as well. So it's
No, I
there on
think
the steps. When you just enter the school, on the steps you can see everything is painted like this. Each goal is painted.
yes.
So we know
I'll
that we
put
have
the
to work on these goals.
no. I think truly amazing job for to you and the entire team, right? Because taking SDG as a goal for the school and starting to contribute on all of them, it's not something which is easy. And actually the major part comes in terms of the assessment, or trying to actually measure the outcome and also present it back to the be it you want to submit it for the government part of the ESG goals, or even putting it into your website in terms of how you're tracking it or year on year, which is very important. Not many
Yes.
school does that, right? Because it's a and that brings awareness as a parent. Also the kids are aware of it when looking at what is it,
And
the
ours is
curiosity.
evolving curriculum. It's
Yeah,
not a static curriculum.
exactly. No, I think thank you for sharing it. I mean, kudos to the entire team, and I think I'll put the link of that in the in the description too. But I think not many schools should look at it and start taking that as well. So I would say they inspired from the
And
group
this year we
as
have
well.
been awarded as number 2 globally ranked in the Yunga United Nations General Assembly. And
Wow.
they've invited us to New York to receive the award. Yeah.
Nice. I think that's wonderful. I think sometimes it's just a lot of times a lot of good work doesn't when you do a lot of good work like this, it doesn't get talked about because the media is really put with a lot of other advantage things, right? Because so if we should talk more, I think you should also talk more about the concepts and what you're doing, right? So that way there is a
Yes.
lot of awareness and other schools takes as an inspiration to start following it. Um, My next question, I know it's going to be, it's going to be an hour. So do you want to pause and probably we can continue? No,
So there's
I
so
have few
much
more.
to talk about education and so much to talk about
Yes.
curriculum, so much talk about what kind of methodology and technology. And I think we should again meet up to talk about more about this and probably take the feedback from parents as well the next session and probably come up with the questions and we can answer that.
Hello, everyone. If you like this conversation, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for latest updates in my show, Caffelogue with Naga. Thank you so much.